Griffon Update is our student-produced digital magazine show bringing you news, sports, and information from Missouri Western State University and the surrounding region. During each program, we will present an in-depth look at the people, places, and events that make Missouri Western and the Northwest region of Missouri a great place to call home.
Hello, and welcome to Griffon Update. I'm Mackenzie Bose.
And I'm Morgan Doyle. We have a few things to catch you up on since we were last in school.
And you will also get to see Bailey Ketchum's sports report a little bit later.
But before we dive right in, how was your summer, Mackenzie?
It was good. I had my internship, I worked. Summer flew by like always. How was yours?
Pretty much the same. I just worked a whole bunch. But now with summer over and school back in full swing, how are things going for you?
Well, I'm a senior this year, so it's about time for me to wrap up my legacy here.
Are you sad to be leaving us?
I am, because I just have loved the communication department and everything they've done for me.
And you attended the Griffon Media Open House, correct?
I did, and it was a pretty good turnout. Reporter Caleb Marriott covered the event and can tell you more.
My arm weirdly up like this. I'm on the wrong one.
On September 14th, Griffon Media hosted a student media open house. The Griffon News had a change of scenery as they moved from Eder Hall to Murphy Hall to join Griffon Yearbook and Griffon Update.
News affords us a lot of freedom as students to make and learn from mistakes, which is really valuable for people as they go on into more professional journalism jobs, both here and outside of the community. It's a good home. We have people who care about each other, and a lot of good friendships are made in the newsroom. And that's a really cool dynamic.
The newly named Reach the Mochila then moved into the old Griffon newsroom.
This is pretty exciting. We used to be in the room right across the hall. It's smaller, but this is like a bigger space. We have like this corner over here. It's can't really see it, but it's got a nice aesthetic to it.
The open house also showcased the other Missouri Western publications.
Okay, the Griffon Yearbook is an annual publication that covers what we do throughout the year of school. So basically we have 248 pages of information and design that we put out. So the stories such as Western Warm-Up or Western's Got Talent, basketball game, football games, we essentially cover those, write about them, so then people can look back the following year.
Griffon Update is a student-produced magazine television show. Everything that's on it is student-produced, like I said. And what happens is we get the student media all together, and they create packages and stuff. We throw it together and make a show out of it.
The producers and editors of Griffon Media are hoping that the event increases their exposure to students.
Students really first realize that we have a yearbook. It's very unusual for a university to have one. We are, I believe, 1 in 50 universities across the nation that actually still has one. So it's a really prestigious publication, and to have that kind of honor to carry on basically the documentation of our school is really important to us.
Griffon Media has been known for their award-winning publications.
I've always thought it was very good in terms of creative writing outlets, the yearbook, the newspaper. I remember when I interviewed for this job back in December of 2007, I picked up a university newspaper, and I thought, this is one of the more impressive university newspapers I've seen at the 5 different universities I've been at. So I think it's been consistently solid.
This is Kayla Marriott with Griffon Media.
I love everyone in our department. They're amazing.
Yeah, they have taught me a lot. You know who also taught me a lot?
Would it happen to be the 2 honorable congressmen who came to campus and talked on Constitution Day?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I wasn't able to go to either event because of track practice.
Well, you're in luck. Reporter Bo Baker and I split the duties so we could tell you more.
It's not a constitutional amendment by any means. The Constitution is silent on marriage.
Does September 17th mean anything to you? It could be your friend's birthday or the day you found out you failed your first college test. But in fact, it is actually Constitution Day, and we had 2 honorable congressmen come and teach us about the Congress and our Constitution.
And we also make a little bit of a pitch that everybody needs to think about. Maybe some point in your life it might be worthwhile to contribute something to your country or to your local community and serve in public capacity.
And as it turns out, when we can come and talk directly to students in person, we can really educate them as to what it's like and why some of the impressions they may have are true, but why others are wrong.
We have 26 amendments in our Constitution. How many of them do you know? In fact, the 26th Amendment greatly affects most of us students here at Missouri Western since its ratification in 1971.
We're sending all these thousands and thousands of young men, and very few women, but some, off to fight and die in Vietnam, and they can't even vote. We decide, well, we'll give them the vote. That should make them at least vote on when they're getting sent to war.
If you decide not to use your constitutional right to vote, senators and representatives may never hear your complaints and concerns.
If you're not registered to vote, that's the first strike against you, because I have no reason to talk to that person.
Be educated about the political system and vote, and if they can, make an informed vote, and then they can complain.
I might start by writing something in the school paper.
Sadly, I was only able to catch one of the events on campus, but Mackenzie, on the other hand, got to catch the other. I hope you learned a little bit more about our Congress and the Constitution. For Griffon Media, this has been Bo Baker.
On September 17th, Steve Kuykendall and Dan Maffei, two former congressmen, came to speak on campus about two events for Constitution Day.
Because Congress is so important, has always been, since the Constitution has always been here, that I think that people get the impression that all members are corrupt, we're all out for our own self-interest, and also that we really don't get along with each other, that, Democrats and Republicans really purely dislike each other and all disagree on everything and criticize each other, and that's why nothing gets done. Well, again, there's a little bit of truth to all of that, but mostly it's not true. Mostly we do get along, we even agree on many things, but there's certain things about our political system that make it challenging to find that agreement, that we represent our constituents as best as we can.
Now that you learned a little bit about the Constitution from Bo, I got a catchy event, Why Congress at All, and I hope you realize the importance of it like I do. There was an open question session after the former congressman finished talking, which was open to any questions the audience had.
I would have liked it a bit more if it were more specific about how you actually start getting into getting people on your side in a sense of to where you can actually start making an actual campaign and stuff like that.
I'm very pleased this school has a Constitution Day program. That's the document, it's the foundation of the nation. And that document placed on top of the economy that we have here and the way we manage this free economy is what's been the footprint or the foundation for this country to be the greatest in the world. I still believe it's the greatest in the world. I don't necessarily think we've always shined as bright as we should, but we have certainly been a power for good for the most part. And I think it's good that you kind of recognize that and the importance of that day, how important that was to the future of the nation that everyone now benefits from.
After hearing about these two events, I hope you realize the importance of the Congress and the Constitution. Reporting for Griffon Media, this is Mackenzie Bose.
That seemed very informative.
Yeah, they were really nice events put on by Western.
Speaking of other events, are there any going on this week?
Well, let's see what we can round up. Check out the events happening on campus with our calendar of events next.
And stay tuned for the Griffon Newscast and Bailey's Sports Report after this message.
At Missouri Western, it's on us.
It's on us, all of us, to take responsibility and stop sexual assault.
To create a campus environment where everyone is safe and feels safe.
To realize that ending sexual assault is not an individual endeavor,
but a collective effort.
To understand that it affects not only students, but faculty and staff members alike.
At Missouri Western, we take action.
It's on us to look out for each other and not look the other way.
We step up and say something.
We support survivors. We are going to be a part of the solution and not the problem.
It's on us to intervene and take responsibility.
So take action because we can and will make a difference.
At Missouri Western,
it's on us
to put an end to sexual assault.
Begin by taking the pledge at itsonus.org.
Ahead on the Griffon Newscast, the search for Missouri Western's next president has begun. What administrators are saying about the search, plus enrollment at Missouri Western continues to grow. How these numbers are affecting housing on campus, all that and more is coming up. The Griffon Newscast. starts now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Price. The search for a replacement has kicked into high gear in the week since Missouri Western President Robert Vartabedian announced he will be retiring on July 1st, 2019. Griffon News reporter Elijah Smith has been following all the developments and has the latest.
After more than a decade at Missouri Western, President Robert Vartabedian is calling it quits, capping off an over 40-year career in education. The next step? To find his successor. The Board of Governors has already held the first of many meetings to discuss the search process. Board Chair David Lichty says that while the original plan was to have about 15 people on the search committee, that number has grown to over 20 people to make sure that no group is left out in the search process. Lichty says he wants to make sure the views and ideas of the community are heard. Student Governor Paul Granberry III is part of the search committee. He is working hard to make sure that students will be involved in the search. The board hopes to conclude their search as early as the spring. They will hold another meeting on October 25th. Reporting for the Griffon News, I'm Caleb May.
Stay with the Griffon News in print and online, and we'll bring you all the updates as the Board of Governors continues its search for Missouri Western's next president. If you've been hanging out in Blum Student Union at all since the semester began, you may have noticed that some things are different. After a complete renovation of the food court last year, Blum saw some more updates over the summer. In addition to a refresh to the cafeteria, the Java City Coffee Shop was replaced with a Starbucks. The new coffee shop held a grand opening ceremony on Wednesday morning, complete with free coffee giveaways. Students say they're happy with the improvements.
Well, it definitely gets more people to go grab coffee because it's much more well known than Java City was. Overall, I think it just increases the flow through Blum.
The new Starbucks adds to several other coffee shop offerings on campus, including Einstein Brothers Bagels and the Roastery. Student enrollment is up for the second straight year at Missouri Western. Preliminary numbers indicate over 1,000 new freshmen enrolled at Missouri Western this semester. That's a 22% increase from 2 years ago. Freshman applications are up 103% in the last 2 years, and campus visits are up 45% in the same time period. Finalized data will be made available after the official census date, 4 weeks into the semester. This continued increase in enrollment has led to tight quarters in some of Missouri Western's dorms. Not only is housing at capacity, but students awaiting room placement are being put on a waiting list. Residential life staff are exploring other options to handle the high demand for housing, including earlier registration deadlines and random selection of reapplicants for placement. However, they have yet to settle on a solution. 2 former members of the U.S. House of Representatives were at Missouri Western on Monday. New York Democrat Dan Maffei and California Republican Stephen Kuykendall were on campus as a part of the second annual Constitution Day celebration. They offered 2 presentations about the Congress and the Constitution. Both talks were free and open to the public, and the former congressman took questions from the audience after both presentations. Those who were at the event say it's important for everyone to understand how our government works.
It's absolutely important to have events like this because we are all living within this country. It's very important to understand how this country works. With the Constitution, it's the basic framework of how our government works. If you don't understand the process, it makes it much more difficult to be part of that process.
The former congressmen were at Missouri Western as part of the Congress to Campus program. The Griffon News is honored to once again partner with Griffon Update to bring you the stories making headlines at Missouri Western. To see all the latest updates on the stories we're following, like us on Facebook or log on to thegryphonnews.com. I'm Brittany Price, and that's your news in 5 minutes. Thanks for watching the Griffon Newscast.
A leading problem I've faced is a misunderstanding on the part of students of the importance of academic advising. They miss appointments. They don't make appointments. But what's most disappointing is when they come unprepared. Give me a student with a plan in their head, or better yet, on paper. We could talk about their interests, not just about their classes. We could discuss internships, classwork, grad programs. It would open the door to what advising is truly about.
Can I help you?
But instead, they come to me in a panic when they need to register because...
I need to talk to you. I was trying to register for my classes, but it wouldn't let me do it because I need my PIN, and I haven't had time to set up an advising, so I don't even know what classes I need to take, so I just signed up for a bunch of random ones, and I'm going to drop them later. So can I have my PIN real fast? Because I'm still logged into a computer in the lab. Am I interrupting?
Take ownership of your education. Make the most of your advisement by being proactive, punctual, and prepared. You'll open the door to more personalized attention and avoid costly setbacks. It's never too soon to begin planning your next steps at Missouri Western.
Welcome to the Griffon Update Sports Report, your place to catch up on all Griffon sports. I'm your host, Bailey Ketchum. Our fall sports are in full speed. First up, football had a disappointing loss last Saturday to UCM, but returned home this weekend against Northeastern State. In other sports news, volleyball had their opening weekend at home this past Friday and Saturday. They lost to UCM in a 5-set battle, but bounced back on Saturday with a win against Lindenwood. I was there to cover it. Missouri Western Volleyball had their home opening games last weekend against Central Missouri and Lindenwood. Unfortunately, they lost Friday night against Central Missouri in a tough 5-set match, but they bounced back Saturday against Lindenwood. Senior Rachel Loesch discusses the two games.
What Coach said to us is it's a new day, it's a new way to start our new record. We're now 1-1 in conference. We can make it 17-1. Nothing's going to hold us back to pursue and go for the MIAA and be the number 1 in our conference again. We had one loss, and I think today we just wanted to go in and build our confidence. Lindenwood wasn't a bad team. They had a win over Augustana, which is going to help us in our region. So us getting us this win today is a great thing. Today we were kind of focusing on limiting our errors. Towards the end of yesterday's game, we kept making some hitting errors or blocking errors. So really when we went in today is making sure we put the ball into play and making sure we're strong with our hands on the block. It feels amazing. We just want to keep going and keep getting wins. This isn't going to be our first one, so a win's a win.
This is Bailey Ketchum for Griffon Update Sports. Volleyball is away again this weekend against Southwest Baptist and Missouri Southern. For more updates on Griffon athletics, soccer had a strong 2-0 weekend against Lindenwood and Northwest and have their home opener on Friday against the defending national champions, UCM. Men's and women's cross country competed in the Missouri Southern Stampede last weekend. Women finished 18th and the men finished 23rd. That's all we have for you today in sports. For more information on Griffon athletics, check out gogriffons.com.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show. You can watch our show on MWSU-TV Channel 12.
You can also catch us on the Griffon Update Vimeo and YouTube channels and the Missouri Western Student Media homepage.
And make sure you check out the next edition of the Griffon News.
For all of us here at Griffon Update, thank you for watching.